So while we are in this physical form, we have thousands of thoughts every single day. We came into this physical form to enjoy the journey of transcending contrast and to enjoy the journey of becoming more and more of our true nature as divine, infinite, eternal beings. As thoughts of contrast come up, worry, fear, doubt, one of the things that we can begin to recognize more and more is that we actually have a choice. We have a choice as to whether to identify with the thought that is arising or identifying with our true nature. So the thought may arise saying, you should be very worried about the number of dollars that is in your bank account. And you can identify with that. But the thought is just issuing an invitation to you. The thought arises and you can become aware that the thought is issuing an invitation. The thought is saying, I am here. Would you like to hang out with me? When we are not as aware as we can be, we do not even recognize that there is space that can be created between the thought and our reaction to that thought, between the thought and the worry that comes up as a result of the thought. But as our awareness expands and thoughts arise, we no longer see ourselves as the thought. We recognize that we are not our thoughts. And as thoughts arise, it is simply offering an invitation. You can hang out with me, or you can choose to not hang out with me. We can engage in the thoughts that's arising, or we can choose to not engage in the thoughts that are arising. And the more we become aware that we have a choice, the less automatic it feels. The less aware we are that we have a choice, the more automatic our thoughts feel. So we feel like, the thought comes up and I just automatically start to worry. Or the thought comes up and I automatically go into fear. And it can feel automatic when we are less aware that we are not our thoughts, when we are less aware that we have a choice. The more aware we become, the less attached we are to the thoughts that are arising. And the more, at least in my experience, everyone is different, so I can't speak for everyone, but for me, the more aware I became that I was not my thoughts, and the more aware that I became that I actually had a choice in what to focus on in the many thoughts that arise in my mind, the less automatic it felt. And the more I felt my true divine nature, in spite of whatever thoughts are arising. So as the thoughts continue to arise, and as my awareness expanded, the more I was able to see my thoughts as separate from my true divine nature, and that I had a choice. I can choose to focus on a particular thought or I could choose another thought that's available on the buffet. And I can focus on whichever thoughts I wanted to. And when we're able to see that we are not our thoughts, and that we can choose which thoughts to focus on and which thoughts to bypass, we are no longer victims of the mind. And when we are no longer victims of the mind, there is a freedom that arises where the thoughts can be there, we can observe them, but we feel free to choose whether to dance with the thought that's arising or choose not to dance with the thought that's arising. And in those moments when those dense thoughts come up, we can identify more with our divine, infinite nature and the limitlessness that we are and the infiniteness that we are. And we're not so bothered by the thoughts that are arising. And it is a beautiful, freeing experience to recognize that this thought is here, but it's not me. It's just a thought. It's not who I am. And I'm free to identify with who I am, the limitless aspect of me, the infinite aspect of me, my divine nature, even while a thought is arising. And when we identify with our true nature, our divine selves, our higher selves, our infinite selves, our limitless selves, those dense thoughts feel weaker in our experience, and we are able to transcend them far more easily.